bang, live on YouTube. Live on YouTube, send a tweet out.
Just blazing the blazettes.
Hey, get a drummer, son. Boom.
It's the RSC TV champion.
Hit the retweets. We're live on
Shit.
YouTube. Boys and girls, how is y'all?
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
What's good,
of course,
folks?
if you're on this channel, you know that you are tapped into the Ringside Club. And if you've been here before, you know that this is the show before the show, also known as Survey Time. So, like we usually do around this time, we go around the ring, and the question as follows is, this week's survey question. CM Punk, he's coming back. Who is CM Punk's first opponent? Samoa Joe. Ron.
I'll say Hangman.
They had one fuck of a collar match, man. I'd say MJF again.
Y2 Judas. El Jericho.
Ocho.
It's talking about the Ocho, and you gotta wait less than Ocho seconds for us to start the show. Let's get it tapping.
Peace to the gods, the Ringside Club hard. My name is A.O. Say you're the Ron the Don. Blame Boogie while you at it, blame Chad Law. K-Fabe is dead, break the fourth wall. Whatever style, whether it's lucha or strong style. Come through the beam, you fly, burn the bar down. Back to the pad, chop it up for the par. Ringside Club, intro to the squad as the show starts.
Peace, 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 peace. To the gods, and of course, peace to the earths. You tuned in to my favorite pro wrestling podcast, and soon to be yours, the mightiest of the mighty, broadcasting live on air from the Empire Tri-State. It is us, it is we being the Ringside Club, the RSC, coming to you live, like I mentioned, every Thursday, 9:05 live, sometimes. Right here on YouTube, on air, on demand. We are available on YouTube. All the videos right there. Of course, all the audio you can subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everywhere else podcasts are available. Plus, you can chop it up with us across all social media. We're on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. Give us a follow, share, tell a friend, things like that. Not even going to belabor the point. My name, of course, 2 letters, very simple. And the drop ain't working again.
You gotta love it.
Gotta love it, man. Technology always turns heel. But anyway, my name is A.O. You can find me everywhere you find me. Ron, what up?
What up? I am Ron the Don. Today, Wu-Tang is for the children, and I am him. Find me at Ron Don PMF for all streaming platforms. What's good, bud?
I'm Boogie. Whether I have a drop or not, you can blame me for everything. And sometimes that's good. Sometimes it's Either way, I get paid, so fuck it. But Chad, how's it going over there in the vehicle, man?
Yo, live from the car side, you already know. I'm on the motherfucking go like always. It's Young Adava himself, CHAD, the RSC TV champion, smoke champ himself. I'm here. I'm sipping. I'm parked. Feeling great. Feeling excellent, fellas. We got so much wrestling to cover. An amazing Backlash pay-per-view I'm still watching. 9 out of 10 pay-per-view for me. What's up, fellas?
Really good show. Really good
wrestling.
show.
Yeah, I mean, I gave it a 10. I gave it a 10 because, like, any little nitpicking that anybody really could do, I think is completely washed out by one of the best crowds that you're ever going to see. Two amazing crowds. Think about, like, that Montreal crowd. Think about the crowd in Puerto Rico. I don't want to dip into my cooked and prepped yet, but those crowds, the what you generally get from that is the fact that those crowds, because they don't get wrestling all the time, really savored that and really appreciated that. So yeah. I thought it was a fire PLE.
A lot
for
of those
sure.
places
Yeah,
also
ditto.
hometown heroes mean something. So
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that's a fact.
I mean, the love that Zelina Vega got. I mean, for Bad Bunny, he was the main event. The love that Zelina Vega got, and then also Damian Priest,
Savio Vega,
Savio
Yeah,
Vega,
Savio Vega.
Carlito.
Carlito.
That match
You know
was
what I
fire,
mean? Like
man.
Carlito looks like he could go right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Savio Vega, fresh off an MLW run.
Right. I was about to say they let
You
him
know
go
what I mean?
already.
Fresh off the MLW. I heard he was the local promoter too. You know what I mean? So he probably made a nice little piece of
Okay.
chicken. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, shouts to Savio Vega. Shouts to everybody. Savio Vega, Zelina Vega, Vega from Street Fighter, everybody that's involved with that shit. Shit was popping. Great PLE.
I agree, man. The WWE PLEs always kick ass, yo. They're really coming through right now and making up for some lackluster television. My only knock for the pay-per-view probably would be that 6-man tag. We could have got that opened and the fuck out of here. I think this Bloodline storyline is starting to run its course for real. That's the obvious elephant in the room. But right now, I could have cared less about anything with the Bloodline. The Judgment Day is way more over than them right now, which is crazy to say. But in Triple H's sick mind, he must have had this written down a year and a half ago when his plan came together.
I don't know. Because like
The Judgment Day being more over than the Bloodline once Roman continues to win? Come on, someone had to have it on their vision board.
nah, because I don't know that anybody really planned on. First of all, remember Edge was a part of this, and then that didn't work. And I also don't think anybody really expected Dom to get like Dom is
Booed out
must see
the damn-
TV, and nobody saw that. coming.
Dom, we knew Dom was going to be the most hated, so putting him with the Judgment Day only just made that faction a must-see faction.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody had Dom being like, yo, if Dom's on TV, I'm watching. You know what I mean? Just because like those boos when they're not pressing the crowd button and it's the actual people that are booing, they're loud.
Yo, watching Raw live, yo, I was so weak at that Brock Lesnar segment because I thought that my TV was messing up because I was like, yo, why am I not hearing him talk on the microphone? Are they playing his music? What's going on here? And I was like, yo, the crowd is that dead that they're piping in and muting the noise. This is
They've been doing that
insane right now. I mean, yes, but it was just so glaringly obvious on a major segment with Brock Lesnar and Cody Rhodes when he's shouting into a microphone and I can't hear a word he's saying. I thought that they were playing around with us, but I'm like, wait a minute, is the crowd just this dead? Big difference from where they were at in Puerto Rico.
They was shook. They was like, nah, we came back from Puerto Rico. Yep. I hit the button, kid. He was flex bombing that, yo. That was like that was the oldest world premiere on the boo button.
OD.
Word up.
From my recollection, probably the best WWE crowd I've heard in the last like 5 years, maybe.
And you also got to give it up because Zelina Vega didn't have a program with the top wrestler in the WWE for 6 months before that happened. She just showed up.
Right. Yeah, they made this specifically because they knew where they were going, and it still worked.
Word.
It still worked. Like, there were
Shouts
people
out to my
arguing.
hat too. I look like Quail Man right now. I'm fucking with that little
Well,
whatever
man,
that is.
terrible.
Nah, man. Deepest, bluest your hat is like a shark's fin. You heard?
Always. One pant leg up.
Man, crazy. Yo, mandatory
waters.
need of you in a Quail Man costume as a cartoon.
Fam,
Word.
I'm gonna have to tweet that later.
All right, let's get into a little bit of news before we hit all of our topics for the week.
Let's go.
Everybody's pretty much talking about the big news coming out of AEW next week. So all reports are leaning towards AEW Collision being announced next Wednesday at the Warner Brothers Discovery TV upfronts. Plus the specifics of a new deal. So the speculation is that the deal is valued at somewhere around $1 billion for 5 years for all of AEW's programming. So Warner Brothers Discovery, they got exclusive rights to all AEW TV programming moving forward. That's like last week we talked about. That's why there is no Dark and Dark Elevation anymore. It's going to be your Wednesday Dynamite. It's going to be your Friday Rampage and your Saturday Collision. And for the next 5 years, the rumors is not actually reported yet, but it's somewhere around $1 billion for 5 years. But we'll find out exactly what they're announcing next week on Wednesday. And then Dynamite, there were a couple of returns. We had Miro come back. We had Thunder Rosa come back. Andrade's teasing a return on Twitter. So all of those questions about where such and such, really could be just that Tony was negotiating these shows and he knows he's going to have more space for these people. And now that they're coming back, there's places for them to be and stories for them to be involved in. So, not that I'm shooting them bail, but that makes sense. That's how I do it.
Yo, I don't know if we need to pause here.
Yeah,
We
sure.
mentioned it. We mentioned it enough. Man, welcome back, Miro, yo. Welcome
Absolutely.
back, Miro. I can't front, yo. I don't even care what he's back for. I don't even care if he's a commentator. Just fuck, man. Get him back, on our screen.
TV.
Yeah, just to see the man. You know?
Those were all caps text messages in the group chat when Miro popped up.
The Russian commentator is mad funny.
Yeah, so Miro's back. Thunder Rose is back, so it looks like maybe she's healed up after all of her back problems. So that's what's up. And yeah, we'll see if Andrade. And then speaking of a person who's going to have to make a comeback at some point, Eddie Kingston had successful hernia surgery, so he's going to be out for a little bit. But surgery, I guess, went well.
Question. So, just for like ROH, like if they show tonight's episode, was that was from when? Like when did they tape that?
I think last weekend.
Last weekend,
think so.
because I don't know if you want me to spoil it, but
Okay.
Eddie Kingston was on tonight.
Was he announcing that he's going to be out?
Nah, you know what? I was watching and I think he was about to get on the mic and they cut it, but he ran out and I forgot what match. I think it was after the AR Fox match and
Word.
and he was about to announce something and they cut it. They just went to commercial or something.
Yeah.
He's a
I
very
think I had to-
polarizing figure, Eddie Kingston. We love him. We love him to death. I feel like so many people don't like him for some weird reason, but I just can't wait till he actually takes off. It's been kind of a slow burn to his career here. He fired up a little bit, but I want to see them actually make him a forerunner or a forefront guy for a little bit. See what he can do with the ball.
Yeah, like I'd like to see him with a title. Like he's another one of those guys, like almost like Jericho, like a checkpoint. Eddie Kingston is like a checkpoint guy, where he's great on the microphone. He's very believable. He checks a lot of boxes. He just doesn't get the big win, or even if he does get the big win, he doesn't get the follow up. But speedy recovery to Eddie Kingston. Moving on to Impact. Two quick notes. Trinity, she has an open contract for Impact Under Siege, which is on May 26th. So there's going to be like a little mystery opponent build. So good to see them moving forward with her.
Yeah, I ain't get to see Impact from last week.
Me either.
I still got on my
I'm tapped in.
Last
Trinity
week
got
I
mine,
saw
yeah.
last week's. I didn't see tonight's yet.
Trinity's got my view. You know what I'm saying? I'm watching because the women's division is always rocking an Impact. Otherwise, Nick Aldis is on deck. Steve Macklin's the world champion. It's an interesting changing of what's going on there. They're going more Canadian, like in general. Like it feels like, you know what I'm saying? PCO having a hell of a run. Bully Ray, Tommy Dreamer's not going anywhere anytime soon. You know, Impact's roster is going to impact at some point. I'm always tuned in I'm an Impact guy, so I'm always going to watch no matter what. I can't front.
You know what, man? You say the Canadian shit. One thing that I really wish they did, and I was hoping, like when they rebranded, when they officially said, all right, there is no more TNA, this is Impact. This is a couple years ago. And they started coming out with the new belts and we're calling it Impact, back to the four-sided ring. I was really, really hoping they would rebrand themselves as like the prominent promotion from Canada. You know what I'm saying? From Toronto, big city, and just make that part of their identity instead of sticking with the Nashville shit, because that's another way of helping them rebrand and like get a fresh coat of paint on that shit. But if that's the direction that they're going, then maybe it's implied more than just overtly stated. But that's cool. And then one last Impact note. They're going to be in Australia for the Down Under tour, which is June 30th and July 1st. So there's a hotbed of wrestling over there in Australia. A lot of promotions are making it pop over there. So that's what's up. Finally, a couple New Japan notes. New Japan Resurgence is on May 21st, later on this month. Mercedes Moné and Willow Nightingale are in the New Japan Strong Women's Championship title tournament. And they're rumored they're pretty much the favorites to face each other in the finals. So a nice little Mercedes versus Willow match should be dope. Nice little styles clash there, and a good bit of attention for Willow.
Yeah.
What's up, Book?
That's a big deal.
Yo, facts, man.
You just saying something, Book?
Oh, no, I just muted myself real
Oh,
quick. I was
word.
delivering a message to the lovely lady here.
Word. Peace to the earth.
Man,
Peace to the earth.
Yes.
I'll say for Tony Khan, that man is getting the bag this summer. Oh man, he's doing
Khan?
some-
Yeah, because
Tony Khan. Yeah.
there's a lot. I mean, those Mercedes Monet to all elite rumors are starting to pop up. New show, you got to bring some new blood in. So we'll see if that's a move. Plus, we got Forbidden Door coming up.
Forbidden Door, yeah.
Forbidden Door is on June 25th. And very last note before we go on the topics, sticking on New Japan, the IWGP US Championship #1 contenders match at that pay-per-view on May 21st, Resurgence, is Will Ospreay versus Tanahashi. And then the winner, the current champion, of course, is not the guy holding that title in the picture, unfortunately. Kenny Omega is still the U.S. champ over there for New Japan. So it looks like we could be getting Ospreay versus Omega 2 if he beats Tanahashi and becomes the #1 contender. So that's how you sell some tickets to Forbidden Door. That's the news. Let's take it over there to the Prepped and Cooked. This is the meanest fucking segment in pro wrestling podcast. Like, I be feeling the way, I can't front. I be feeling mean as shit. Like, nah, this nigga sucks and he's done. You know what I'm saying?
Fuck
Chad, you
him,
got
though.
it.
You gotta let him know.
I think we could throw the disclaimer out. We are not speaking to someone's talent level. We are never saying that someone's cooked from a talent perspective.
We're
that
going
we don't
strictly
think they could make
kayfabe, like
money.
AO would say.
We are 100% just saying what's going on with the recipe because they're either prepped or they're cooked right now.
Right.
You know
That's
what?
all booking.
We definitely got it. We do a disclaimer before this. I feel better. So,
Yeah.
Chad, you got it.
All right. As we all know, our prepped and cooked segment of the week. We got our prepped, some of the wrestlers that we've watched over the week that we feel have really been getting ready to get cooked. And cooked, as we know, they are they're on their way out of here. We've got some interesting names on this notepad. I currently don't have mine. Ayo, can you pull up which prepped and cooked I had? If you,
Yes, sir. Your prep
Is on the menu.
I'm taking it, so I wanted to just know off the top of my head.
Anyone Orange Cassidy faces is prepped, and your cooked was Nikki Cross.
Anyone Orange Cassidy faces is being prepped. Why? Because what are they doing afterward? They're getting cooked. Everyone that we might think is going to beat Orange Cassidy is nowhere close to beating Orange Cassidy. They're currently having this, he's winning by the skin of his teeth, and I think it's going to end up being somebody so random that beats him for this international championship that we're going to be like, yo, we didn't see this coming.
What
the
was
hell?
homeboy's name from the Aussie Open that jumped him on Dynamite?
Kyle Fletcher. This could be Kyle Fletcher could come in and actually win this title. You know what I'm saying? Like, it could be that random. But then what does that mean? What does that say about Bandito? About all the other people? Danny Garcia. Weren't we talking last week about Danny Garcia beating Orange Cassidy this week?
That was the word on the internet.
What about Pac? Where's Pac at?
Pac. We've got a whole bunch of people that Orange Cassidy has beaten in 20-something matches that are like, well, where are they now? So anyone who faces Orange Cassidy for the international championship gets a missing poster, a milk carton picture, and we'll see you on Rampage 6 months from now.
Word.
My cook for the week is going to Nikki Cross. Because after taking an L to the debuting Zoe Starks from NXT, it's looking like Nikki Cross is going to be getting a future endeavor in the next couple of. I don't want to.
There's nothing kayfabe about that.
All right.
Jesus Christ.
Chad just ate that disclaimer and shit
Right,
it out.
bro. We gotta reproduce this shit.
No one's gonna lose their job, but just character-wise, Nikki Cross is gonna be main event Sunday Night Heat Velocity. And it's like she's a former women's champion, tag team champion. Come on, yo, she's about to get the Dolph Ziggler treatment. Nikki Cross don't deserve this.
I'm gonna be real. I do feel like she's one of Vince's pet projects, so it's like she's coming back on the screen now.
Like, it just didn't work out. Right.
Yeah, like I just feel like she just keeps coming back on the screen because Vince is back around. So like, love her or hate her, she's here right now. I don't know if she's really going anywhere.
Yeah, man, she don't really deserve this. And I ain't the craziest Nikki Cross guy, but it's like, come on.
Well, I like this other than Blank Man, Superman shit she was doing.
That was a wet
Yo, shouts
blanket.
out to Blank Man.
Shout out to Blank Man wherever you at.
Word up.
Fine crime, whatever.
Actually, shouts out to Derek Brown, who was our center on our 7th and 8th grade basketball team, who wore rec specs, and we called him Blank Man. I'm actually going to share this video to him because of this.
Yo,
The
shout out to Quail Man, wherever he's at.
That's right.
Yo, Boog with the quail
Just
man.
I just tucked my tail. I was right here,
Stuck in the
baby.
tail. Pause. That's funny as hell.
Oh my
God.
Jesus. Who you got for prepped and cooked? Ayo.
My prepped and cook, like I usually do, is left field as fuck. I'm gonna get straight to it. My prep are PLEs in America. Y'all crowds, y'all need y'all future endeavors because
Damn,
coming
you threw
off
the W
of
and y'all.
coming off of a successful Montreal trip, a successful Puerto Rico trip. They got Saudi coming up. You know how they give it up over there. Money at the banks in England. I'm not looking forward to the next crowd, the next PLE from New Jersey. I'm sorry. Because y'all aren't going to make noise. And if I have to sit through another WWE show where they're funk flexing the bomb of crowd noise, I'm not with it. So, prepped American wrestling audiences for WWE premium live events.
That
Y'all
aren't
on-
in Chicago.
that aren't in Chicago.
Yeah, definitely. Chicago crowds are cooked, yo. Can't do it.
Nah, how they cook?
No,
They
I mean,
always
they
the
turn up.
loudest. Yeah, they always the loudest. They're not cooked. They're cooking. It's popping in Chicago. There's a reason why Tony Khan is hitting the spam button and hitting every other show in Chicago. It's because they give it up. They spend their bread and they make some noise. And my cooked live wrestling television during New York Knicks playoff games. I'm not watching. So peace to the DVR. I appreciate all of the work that you do. But yeah, I'm not watching anything live as long as the Knicks are in the playoffs.
As a faithful Celtics fan, I'm just going to be real with you. I don't know how much longer either of us have left. We might be able to watch live wrestling.
Yeah, we might be back to live programming next week. Peace to the Knicks. Good luck to you next week. Y'all better not disappoint me. Ron, what you got?
All right, for my cook this week, I got Jay Carhill. Listen, I'm just gonna be straight up. She's just damn boring
She's
right
cooked?
now. Yeah, she's cooked. No, I'm sorry. She's prepped. I'm sorry. She's
How
prepped.
is she even on this list?
Listen,
You got
because she is boring right now. She has to switch something up. Listen, I
have something to say about this in a moment as well.
Yo, I looked at her on Rampage last week, and it was another jobber match. The other
You're not
day,
wrong.
You're right. It's another jobber match. I ran through like most of her matches in my head from what I remember. 70% are like jobber matches. There's nothing meaningful. I forgot she even has the title, to be honest. Like, she's not a bad wrestler. She's solid. Like, she has some dope moves, but at the same time, it's like you gotta switch something up. I thought they were gonna do something with the Taya Valkyrie storyline. I feel like they could have gone somewhere with that. When she was what's Shorty's name? Red Velvet left the group. She was doing something with her. Thought they could have took that. They could have took that somewhere else. When she was doing something with Kiera Hogan, they could have did something with that. They could have made something meaningful out of that stuff. But now she just goes back to killing everybody. So it's like, I just feel like she needs to switch up, or I mean, I don't want to see her drop the title. I mean, cool to have the title, but I want it to be meaningful. You know what I'm saying? So that's I have her as my
Could I jump in and say why she's cooked for me too here, just so I don't have to do it and like bring it up again,
Go ahead.
and then we'll both do our prep.
Well, I have her as prepped, not cooked. She's not
okay.
cooked. She's not cooked as yet.
Okay.
She's just prepped right now.
I'm gonna tell you why I have her cooked, like fully cooked right now. They have literally. Sorry, I stepped away for a second. They have literally booked her into a corner now. Like, who beats her? Like, who even makes her stumble? Because the way she's been booked, she'd mop the floor with Jamie Hayter. So why is there even a women's champion in AEW? It doesn't even make sense to me. So that's the reason I feel like she's cooked, not because she's not doing well, because what do you do now? Like, where do we go from here? China's dead. You know, no disrespect.
Yo, whoa.
I'm being real.
I get
I'm
what you're
no
saying.
disrespect. I'm
Yeah.
just saying from that standpoint,
Jeez.
who
Louise. Rest in
poses a
peace,
threat?
Joni Lawler.
Yeah, of course. I meant no disrespect. But who poses a threat to Jade Cargill besides anyone on the male roster? Nobody. I can't see it.
Can I step in, please?
Go ahead.
Step in.
I feel like I know where you're gonna go with this, but go ahead.
We do know that we're still in the middle of this Taya Valkyrie storyline, right?
Are
You
we?
know it's not over.
So we believe that
Are we?
she's going to be the one to beat Jade.
Because I
didn't
forgot
say
about
that.
it.
I didn't say it, but that's not on AEW. That's on you. We're still in the middle of it because, and it was clumsy and whack how they got there, but we're still in the middle of the story. And I'm not saying that she's going to lose to Taya Valkyrie at all. What I'm saying is the story ain't over because the last time they had a match, the very whack stipulation or whack execution, I'm not sure which is which, of you can't use this move, which is why she hesitated and got rolled up for a pin. Then she attacked referees and she's suspended. So it's not over. So in the meantime, this story isn't over. She's not going to then jump to another story with somebody before a pay-per-view, mind you, and start a whole brand new feud and a whole program cycle before this Taya Valkyrie is wrapped up. So all I'm saying is it's not over if she's still in the middle of it. Let it rock.
I feel
If
that
at
for
the end
story.
of that, huh?
I feel that for the story, but hear me out for why I really think she's cooked, right? Because even if she's wrestling enhancement talent every week, right? Enhancement talent are meant to do two things: enhance the person that they're in the ring with, and then the person in the ring enhances them from a, I don't know what
rub.
it is, an experience, rub, whatever the word is, standpoint. So it's like they're the name, they're in there with somebody that nobody knows. Boom, that's on my card now. It's just like when you're DJing at a club that some artist is doing a walkthrough in or something, or they're hosting. Okay, now all of a sudden I was there for that type thing. You know what I mean? I just feel like there's no one that gives her the rub. There's no one, even Taya Valkyrie, no disrespect to her either. I just feel like the way they approached it in this story, they could have made her more powerful. And it seems like
Yeah, I think the
There's nobody that could
execution
beat
of
Jade.
that story was no good.
yeah,
Right? And I also don't think Taya really looked all that good. Like I think higher expectations for Taya Valkyrie before that match went off, and then once it happened, it was like there were a couple of good moments, and a lot of it was a little clumsy. Maybe it's just the fact that they hadn't been in the ring before. You know what I'm saying?
And
I
I
still think Jade is pretty green. I still think Jade would benefit from wrestling people that are better than her. And I don't know what they do off camera, but on camera is also taking into account how you're reacting to the crowd in real time and all of that shit. So from
Yeah.
the standpoint of, and I'll pass it back, from the standpoint of, yo, you're not doing anything that we can latch our teeth into, sure, but that's also nothing new.
Yeah.
I'm also not gonna ride with prepped or cooked because I know for a fact they got mad wild bread invested in her, and I think they'll
Yeah, for
figure
sure.
it out because they're invested in her.
I'll
But
use one
creatively,
last point and then we could go
it's
to
kinda
another
stagnant.
spot. Yeah, my bad. I'll use one last like analogy and then get the hell out of here. But to me, it's like as if an NFL team is undefeated for the season, but all they played was Pop Warner teams. It's like, where do we go from there?
Yeah, it's like snuffing the nerd. You don't get points for that.
And I love her. I'm Team Jade.
She
I really
needs-
am. I'm just
She needs a feud with the outsiders more than the outsiders need a feud with DMD and Jamie Hayter.
yeah.
For a fact. Like she needs something. Like she needs name value to fight. All I'm saying is like, as far as like story, like it's literally not over. Like let's just not lose the wrinkle of the fact that Ty was suspended and she has to come back, and we got to figure out where that goes from here. Is all I'm saying.
I respect it. I'll let it play out.
If it doesn't end with a Taya Valkyrie win at Double or Nothing, we got prepped or cooked somewhere coming
But
back.
how? But like you still also have to see what happens on the next Dynamite after that before. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. my whole argument all the time is like, if we're gonna talk long term storytelling, that's what we want. You also gotta let it play out longer than a week.
Yeah.
Listen, despite if the storyline is still going on, if Taya is suspended or not, her whole reign, it like I said, 70% of the reign, it was like whatever. It was like
You don't
chapel
remember any of
matches.
these
It
women.
wasn't
Remember none of
meaningful.
them.
It's a bunch of Barry Horowitz.
Yeah, basically. So, but anyways, for my cooked, I got Hit Row.
Damn, what a relic. I ain't heard those names in a minute.
See, exactly. And I had to go and look at the roster again because I was like, yo, did they even leave or whatever? Because they came back. We had the initial excitement. It was dope because they had gotten let go. What was it like sometime last year, whatever.
Yeah.
The only difference between them then and now is that they don't have Swerve, and because they don't have Swerve, they don't have the A Mike leading them. So it's like nobody else really like picked up the slack, and they're decent on the mic, but
They
it
high key
wasn't
both need each other.
right. Yeah, in a way. So it's like since Swerve didn't come back, he wasn't there for the lead. And then it kind of went downhill from there when homie took the tumble over the top rope, and Michael Cole just killed this man every week.
Nah, an insane burial of Top Dollar every week.
Right, and
Every
that
time he gets on camera from Michael Cole is honestly priceless. Like
and that didn't help them
they're done.
whatsoever. So listen, they got drafted. I think they got drafted to SmackDown, if I'm correct. I'm hoping
Bro, they were already on SmackDown. How you
yes.
get drafted to SmackDown and you was already on SmackDown? That's how much they don't even. It was like, oh shit, you guys are still here. Yeah. You're drafted to SmackDown.
Yeah.
Next.
It's freaking wild, man. So,
That's
yeah,
crazy.
man. After this new draft, after the draft, I hope they do something with them.
Fam,
they're
do you
on-
see
they're on
what the
SmackDown
tag
now,
team
right?
division looks like?
Yeah, I believe they're on SmackDown. Yeah.
Yeah, so
I'm
they
sorry,
got
what'd you-
they got
what you-
corporate eyes on them right now too. So we'll see what happens.
You see the tag team champions right now in the barrier and like what's going on. Like then you look at Hit Row, they are at the complete bottom level of a tag team title shot right now. Like they
Just
are the
saying.
furthest thing from a tag team title run. So it's going to be really
Yeah.
interesting. I think they're going to go back to NXT. Honestly, I can see them
wouldn't be
going right back to
wouldn't be
NXT.
mad at that. Probably be the best thing for them.
Yeah, that's
Nothing
not
is
a problem
popping.
either.
I mean, I'm not a fan, right? Is Top Dollar good?
He's okay.
He's
Like
clunky.
he's okay. He's
But
not
like
the
I don't
greatest.
I don't see it with him. Ashanti the Adonis, I don't really see it with him. What's Shorty's name?
B-Fab.
B-Fab, yeah.
Like a lot of I think they would before even NXT just really benefit from figuring another like let's switch it up. You know what I'm saying? Like immediately when they made their first return and they got on and they started rapping, it was bad. And then from then on, there hasn't been anything that I could look at that I've seen, like even as a clip, where I'm like, oh shit, that was dope. In ring, on the mic, backstage segment, on the stage, nothing. So maybe it's time to go back to the drawing board. Is all I'm saying.
See,
And
because when
No
before then,
disrespect again. Oh, my bad.
no, my man. Maybe just say this because before then, when they were in NXT, who was there? Swerve was there. Swerve was leading the pack. So after Swerve left, they were still kind of
exposed.
hot. Yeah, they were kind of exposed. They were still a little hot, and then people were pissed off that they got fired, but they were still hot. So they came back, and like I said, they got the initial, oh shit, they're really back. Blase blah, just let it ride or whatever. Go ahead, Book. My bad.
Rap is such a polarizing topic, and like what makes it good and what makes it bad, that when you mix that with your wrestling, you gotta have really big balls, yo, because that's
Facts.
you're automatically subjecting yourself to double hate. So they're basically in many ways shooting themselves in the foot to make themselves unlikable. And the fact that they're even getting as far as they've gotten this far is kind of good because, I mean, what we had Crime Time, we have the Street Profits, all these like exploitive cultural tag teams, I don't know. I just feel like there's people that do it better, that have done it better, that are currently doing it better. They're more believable.
I think the formula is super simple, and the
Yeah.
fact that nobody's picked up on it is like you got to know the audience that you're performing for. You have
Yeah.
to understand that this is not. This is like going to. What's a good analogy? I don't even know. If you are super fucking lyrical and you're just doing bars and internal rhyme schemes, you got to understand that this is not that audience. We're not. This ain't
Yeah.
battle rap, right? This ain't the club where there's two females there. You know what I'm saying? This is people, especially WWE. WWE again is for children, so people are coming with their families to come and chill. You got to make that very simple.
Yep.
Little quick call and response, some rhyme schemes. It could be rap influence, but you can't come out with
What's up? What's
Max
up?
Caster, just a little more Diet Coke.
yeah.
Our truth.
You max caster it, you are truth it. You can infuse some rap influence into your act. First of all, without it being corny, and second of all, without it going over people's heads. And I think, and this also isn't saying that I think any of them are even all that good in the first place. But the point is, whatever they're doing isn't connecting. So try something else.
Yeah, for sure.
Bug, prep to cook.
I honestly forgot who I have for my prepped AO. You got that up?
Got you. I know you had cooked. I think was Jade. You're
Yeah.
prepped. Drew McIntyre.
Got it. Yep.
I'm right there with you.
So, love him to death.
Might be
I'm a Drew fan.
Did on that.
When Drew won the title during the pandemic, I was super happy for him, man. He deserved it. He deserves to have the title even right now. He's been working his ass off. I love him doing his programs with Sheamus. Him with Sheamus and Gunther was an amazing match. The reason I got him prepped is simply because I heard he didn't sign his contract. And if he didn't sign his contract, he might not be sticking around. So he might have prepped himself. This might be a ready-made meal. He might have just said, you know what, I'm out of here. So that's really all I have there, because I really do believe the fans still love if you put him in programs with Sheamus and the other folk that he's been fighting. He's always good for a battle. So I don't think he's cooked in the fans' eyes or prepped in the fans' eyes. I just feel like with all the word I've been hearing and not really making him too prominent, not seeing too much different with him, I don't have any other reason to believe anything different, you know?
So if he
Drew?
doesn't, if he doesn't resign, where can you see him going? Where do you think
He'll be a Tony Khan major announcement.
1,000.
Drew
Yeah,
Galloway.
1000%. Drew Galloway.
Drew Galloway is all elite. And you know what? Selfishly, I wouldn't even mind it, because at this point, give me Drew Galloway and Miro, or Drew Galloway and Orange Cassidy, or Drew Galloway and Pac, or anything other than watching Drew and Sheamus again and again and again and again and again.
Tell me Drew Kenny Omega wouldn't be bad.
Would be fire.
Ridiculous.
You also got to remember like how like large of a human being he is, right? And typically like a lot of the roster over in AEW skews a little smaller than WWE, so he's gonna be a giant over there. So think about the biggest people. Like you put him next to a Luchasaurus, you put him next to a Hobbs, you put him next to a Wardlow, you're getting hoss fights,
That would be fine.
Put him in a tag team with Luchasaurus.
right? You're getting like A1 tier brawls. You know, what
I
I'm saying?
agree.
No
I
flips,
agree.
just fists kind of shit. Like for real, for real.
That's why I think he should explore his option. You know what I'm saying? We know how this goes. You know what I'm saying? The internet saying one thing, and then it's going to be a 3-year extension, top of the line money, and probably a no world title, probably just a world title run on the Raw side. If he's even
The last one
drafted
that
to
really
Raw.
surprised me was Kevin Owens. I really thought he was out of there. When he re-signed, it really confused me. But hey, it
But
worked out for him.
that it definitely it more than worked
Yeah.
out because he got
Yeah.
Austin one year and then got a tag team main event the next for Mania. So, and let's also just keep in mind like right now, McIntyre is injured, so he's gonna be out for a couple weeks. He got like I think a back injury or some shit like that.
Okay.
So, like
I don't want to see Drew come back and take a L to Theory for the U.S. title. I just think Drew is
I
above
think-
that right now.
I think he's gonna I see heel written all over him. The way I see it is like, again, I see Seth winning this title, So you're gonna have to line like top tier heels, and I think Drew plays a heel just as well as he plays a face. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if he does resign and does come back, and that's what he wants to do, then that's a perfect like a nice Seth Drew program. I'm here for it, for sure.
Or
All right, let's prep, let's cook. Now it's topic time.
yes, sir.
My topic this week, underappreciated cage matches. Like we always talk about, like Hell in a Cell '98. There's always talked about. There's always like standards when we talk about cage matches. But I was just curious because I have a nice little creative idea or like a little mini series that I'm kind of writing and at least brainstorming some shit about that's related to cage matches. So I was curious what you gents, just some matches that you don't hear, or cage matches, one or two, that you don't hear people talk about that think should be talked about more. Mine is, I think it's on this computer. Might have played myself just now. But anyway, WWF 1998, 3 months after the Hell in a Cell match that Mankind had with Undertaker, there was a triple threat cage match. I think Breakdown might have been the pay-per-view. It was like an in-your-house branded joint. Main event, this was the main event where there was the triple threat of Kane versus Undertaker versus Stone Cold, where they hit the double pin to get the title off them. But earlier that night was The Rock versus Mankind versus Ken Shamrock in a fire. I think, if I'm not mistaken, might have been like one of the last times we saw that blue cage, by the way. Like that old school WWF, like 80s blue cage before they switched to the steel, the chain link joints. But it's just one of my favorite like moments because like this is The Rock when he had the best version of his music, in my opinion. It started off with like the Do You Smell, and it still kind of got a little bit of the Nation of Domination in there, but you could tell they were playing around with some shit.
With The Rock.
Yeah. It was on like I think either volume 2 or volume 3 of the WWF the music shit. Yeah, fire. I think that was the best version of his music. You have like, again, this is a couple of months after, like Ken Shamrock was the one that was booed, by the way. Like The Rock was still technically playing a heel, but this was right before he started making his face run or his face turn. So the crowd was pretty much eating. All three of them did promos back to back before the cage match started. And they were hanging on every word The Rock and Mankind, for that matter, both said. Sugar-coated testes was a quote. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's certain shit. Again, 3 months after the Hell in a Cell, so people were in love with Mick Foley. You know what I mean? He did the Jimmy Snuka almost off the top, where he ripped his mask off and he hit the elbow, like the Snuka splash off of the top of the cage. And Ken Shamrock was the one that was booed the most, which was surprising because, like, he was the one, I guess, that people just were a little bit tired. I think the crowd was Montreal. I think it might have been Montreal. So there was some commentary about how we're in Bizarro Land and shit like that. But great crowd. And if you don't remember or haven't seen that in a while, yeah, I think it's Breakdown, WWF Breakdown. It was In Your House, and triple threat, Mankind, Ken Shamrock, and The Rock. And that was the #1 contendership for the WWF title at the time. So definitely underrated. Great match, and the action was dope. You hit a double people's elbow, by the way, too. So you lined them both up and hit the people's elbow. Both of the elbow pads came off and shit. A lot of fun. But that's my underrated, underappreciated cage match.
Feels like that one would hurt. You can't favor one side when you're dropping it, so you got to drop it down the middle. That doesn't sound
you just got to take
comfortable.
a flat back and just hit it. Like just word up.
Poor.
It's a bump, nigga. What you
I,
mean?
I saw it coming, man.
How you pause flat back bump when we in here talking about wrestling? These niggas are half naked play fighting, bro.
Nah, I was
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
I was thinking
Yo,
it
cue
too.
up.
I was like, I was-
Beat nuts, no escaping this, please.
No escaping this, yo.
Da, 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 da. All right. When you brought this topic up, I would say you gotta have some good ass memory to remember specific cage matches. So I cannot contribute to this too much. However, I did come upon a cage match back on September 9th, 2005, and that was Rey Mysterio versus Eddie Guerrero. fantastic, great match. I love when in a cage match you actually utilize the cage. They got on the cage. They got on the ropes. They just did everything they could, in that match to utilize everything. And I think Eddie Guerrero won that one. I think he was about to walk out, and then he walked back in, got on the top rope, and gave Rey Mysterio a frog splash. I was like,
Top of the
that's
cage or top rope?
sorry, top rope on the top
Top
rope.
rope? Oh, okay.
If it was a top cage, that would have been insane.
That's
And
a
I
wild,
think,
yeah.
and I think that was on I think it was on a random SmackDown. So it was like
shit.
I thought thought that was fire. As far as other cage matches, I still got to do a little more research. Do you? I mean, as a cage match, would you count like War Games or
Yeah,
you just
it's in the cage. All of them. The Hell in a
okay.
Cell counts. The Elimination
Elimination
Chamber
Chamber.
counts. Yeah.
Okay,
all of
word,
those.
word. So the other one I had down was just like just the war game matches in NXT. Like, any war games match I've seen at NXT has just been fire. It's been a nice build up. It's just been super dope.
Quiet as kept, that Elimination Chamber match where Brock wrecked Austin Theory.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Word, word. I didn't know if you would count all that, but even elimination chamber matches, like it's just a different look on actual cage match where it's just a brand new idea. Because I remember Ayo, I mean, you said before it's like you're not the biggest fan of like Hell in a Cell matches, so it was
Only because I think I'm not sure how much you can do with that type of match. Like the last great one I think was the end of the era joint with Undertaker and Triple H at Mania, and it was less about the Hell in a Cell and more about the storytelling. 'Cause that's Shawn Michaels was a special guest referee, but like the physicality part is like we've seen the craziest shit in the first like 2 or 3 of them. You know what I'm saying? And then like times that they had to promote it on Raw, so I'm not sure how much the Hell in a Cell, like it's one of them things. It really should be the end of a feud. It shouldn't be a full pay-per-view. It should be every couple of years, and these people have to hate each other for me to be like, oh, Hell in a Cell is definitely how we got to end it. You know, that also could be said about like most single cage matches in general. I think they get overdone to the point where it's like, what are we gonna do that we haven't already seen?
word. Now, so since you said that, I was just thinking about this Rey Mysterio Eddie Guerrero match. It wasn't overdone. Thinking about it now, it was just perfect. They did all the dope spots. They didn't oversell. It was just fire. So yeah,
Word.
that's my and that was like I said, it was on a random SmackDown. So it was super dope.
That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So that goes to me.
Yep. Yes, sir.
I guess I'm kind of biased. So I didn't really delve into this deep at all because I got the pleasure to see one live. And that was, I believe it was the year 2000 when No Way Out was in Hartford, Connecticut. And it was Triple H. I don't know if he was Mankind or Mick Foley at that point, and he was doing like all the faces of Foley, but
Cactus Jack.
he and Triple H literally went crazy.
Yeah.
And my seats were not anywhere near as blessed as Chad and I were for Dynamite recently. But I was like at almost eye level with the top of the cage all the way out in the stands. So
That's fire.
Okay.
I'd probably
That's
say
not
I was
bad.
a couple 100 feet out.
Yeah,
But I
that's
was
not-
right
that's
there
not
at the
terrible.
top level of the Hell in a Cell or whatever. So it was just an amazing experience. And if I'm not mistaken, that was when they lit the cage, like part of the cage on fire. And then they threw him through it.
Wow.
Oh, when he had the like the 2x4.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he went through the cage, and that
Yeah.
was the last. That was his last match, technically.
And
Yeah.
this was
Hold up.
right. This was right after he had done that with the Undertaker, like not that long after, so many years after. So it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
this is automatically not going to be number one on anyone's list. But because I saw it in person, I feel like it slept on because it was really cool to see. Just like most live events, you kind of had to be there. The camera's awesome. It shows you what happened, but it doesn't show you what it feels like. So
Right.
when you're there, it's just totally different experience. That's mine. What you got, Chad?
Yo, just you mentioning Mick Foley, Triple H got me thinking. Like, what would this? It's a little monkey wrench, but what would this like era's similar characters be. Like Mick Foley never really got his comeuppance on Triple H. I used to always want Mick Foley, Mankind, Cactus Jack, anything. He just got his ass beat the majority of that early 2000s, late 99
Yeah.
by Triple H. And I was like, damn, yo,
Yeah.
he's putting up a valiant effort, but he's just never going to beat Triple H. And he's retiring now. Shit. So that's why it's like, who's some of the guys like in this like era that I feel like just, it's like, damn, they never. I guess Roman. I guess anyone that goes against Roman, like that's the answer to the question.
Could be like Kevin Owens. Like he's never beaten Roman.
Oh yeah. Kevin
You know?
Owens, like he never gets a win. Like he always is just like, damn, they never gonna let my guy get a title, man. KO's a good one.
I feel the same way about Dax now. As soon as Dax is in the ring in a singles match, automatic loss. Like I feel like
Nah,
he
I
can
feel
win
that.
shit.
I feel that.
He wants to do that shit. He's
Nah,
just
you're
geeking
right.
out on the fact that
He's
yo,
a
I just want to
sicko.
have. He looks for like great ways to lose. You know what I'm saying? It's like I want to. Let's do a triple Lindy roll up that nobody will see coming. It's like
Like
that's
the
nerd
way
shit. I
John
love it.
Moxley presents himself as like this bloodthirsty wrestler.
Yeah.
I feel like Dax really is that though.
He wants
Yeah.
to be the most professional wrestler ever, and he doesn't care about wins or losses.
Word.
Chad, back to your point about Mick Foley. I believe the reason he said he was just taking these losses. I think that was his way of putting wrestlers over, like making them into stars. Like I remember he was saying that with, I think The Rock was in an interview, and he thanked Mick Foley for that. What match it was the I think it was like a hardcore match or something like that.
I quit joint.
Yeah, the I quit match, and like that put Rock over as like this crazy wrestler. Like, so that's why Mick Foley, did what he did, and
Yeah, he did the same like for Rock and Triple H. Like both of those dudes were guys that Mick Foley made because like before those matches, they weren't looked at as tough. Like
No.
Rock was cool and catchy and all that, and then he had that I quit match. Like, all right, it's got a mean streak to him. He survived Mick Foley, he hit him 40 times with the chair, blood all over the place. And same thing with the Rumble match before the Hell in a Cell book. The one I think just before that at the Rumble. That was at the Garden, matter of fact.
yeah,
And he had like that piece of the wood pallet that went through his calf and shit. It was like, all right, Triple H, like you're no longer Hunter Hearst Helmsley. We give you the pass now. You know what I mean?
The Connecticut blue blood.
Yeah, that guy's dead now. We respect you.
He had that silly little black bow in his hair too. Oh
Yeah,
god,
that
it
was
was so dainty.
That
it
was
was very dainty.
It was
He used to
dainty.
curtsy.
He used to curtsy. That little bow, it would trickle over his shoulder.
Yo, honestly, who did blue blood better? Him or Regal? I mean, Regal is really blue blood, so it's
Nah, because it's like with Regal, like it was the accent. But like if you read up on Regal came up hard, bro.
oh, I know, but he's so smug, yo. That's what I mean. It's
That's what
like
I'm saying. Like I think it worked for both of them because that ain't their background. But I think Regal probably more so than Hunter, because Hunter I think is really from Connecticut. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know.
He really is from Connecticut.
No, he's from New Hampshire.
No, New
pardon.
Hampshire. Yeah, New Hampshire.
He's from New
yeah.
Hampshire. But like the way that I was reading about Regal coming up is like this. He was basically in the fucking circus. Like all that carnival shit
Yeah.
was really his life for a minute. So he was eating whatever I could make make the bread today. You know what I mean? So for him to actually like, it was the accent and the smugness or whatever, but to pull it off, this is pre-internet, I guess. But like, we really think this dude is a rich asshole. Like he really did it.
yeah,
You know?
for sure.
Word.
I mean, Triple H was also terrorizing.
what a
Holy moly! You get that shit over, you get anything over.
terrorizing.
Terrorizing.
Rising. Wow.
That's a fucking hysterical name. Might have to keep that one in the talk.
You got some feedback or something, Chad. I don't know what it is.
What you got, Ron? What's our topic next?
No, I think Chad. I think Chad has to go, right?
Chad didn't
Chad.
go. Isn't it his topic?
Yeah, I think so.
No. As far as
Yeah, cage match, but you got some,
cage match.
some feedback and shit though.
I got feedback.
yeah, you
Hold
got
on.
you got some feedback.
Yeah, my goodness. I'm not sound.
Sound muffled, but I don't hear it. I don't know. No, you're
Oh
not.
yeah.
Yeah.
Nah.
Nah.
Sounds like you're catching the facts.
Yeah, you might have to.
Yo, whoa, boy.
Big,
bro.
Big
How was that
facts.
pause? Fax machine over here.
Yo, this dude pause anything.
Dog, if you say it, he'll pause it.
Yo, if it's in motion,
I
he's
thought
pausing
I
it. Yo,
thought
don't
the
matter.
word. I thought book dropped. I was worried about the
Chad
pod.
pausing anything with a pulse right now.
Anything with a pause, yo, just hit the refresh and jump back on. Pause, I guess. Yo.
Yeah, just in case, you know.
Pause if necessary. Man.
Oh, you know what I'm peeping just now? We got this overlay is the one with the that you fixed. So I don't even have the right one.
Yeah, don't have the in it.
Yeah, I don't have the right one.
Word to everything.
Word.
Do.
All right, so yeah, hit the topic and try to
All right.
he'll catch up.
So for this week, my topic was what was your favorite? What I say was what was Stone Cold's
Oh, Stone
one of
Cold
his
show.
one of your favorite
his
Stone Cold
like
shows.
his favorite show or
Yeah.
show he hosted or whatever. So I believe that I think everybody in this in on this stream right now, I believe Stone Cold is up there for them. Top 5, top 10 maybe. He's in my top shit. He's probably number 1 to me. Probably only,
And shouts out to those wrestling girls. Which it's PR, right? That sweat Stone Cold.
I believe so. I
think
think so.
so. Yeah, I think it was The Rock versus I think KB had Rock.
I think KB is the patron saint of Maivia, and PR is definitely Stone Cold's number 1 supporter.
Yeah, it was something.
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm all right.
No, it's still staticky. Man.
Nope.
What?
You sound. I'm gonna tell you what it is now. Now that I had like time to sit with it, no longer a fax machine. You sound like you're coming through a kazoo. That's what it is.
Peace to who's that? Edge and Christian that had the kazoos.
Yeah, yeah, Edgy Christian. Word. So, yeah. So,
Maybe it's the headphones. Pardon me, Ron.
no, it's all good. Yeah, it might be the headphones. But anyways, so we saw that Stone Cold has a new show, called Stone Cold Takes Over America, and I gotta say, it's another dope show from Stone Cold Steve Austin, and come to realize the man's had a few shows, and I wasn't mad at a lot of them, man. Pretty entertaining. So I definitely well, before I even ask y'all what show y'all like the most, I just run through a little history of like where he started. He back in 2013, he started with the Steve Austin show, which was a podcast, and along with that, he has the Steve Austin show Unleashed, which was for like the adult version. The Steve Austin show was just like for the family friendly version. Then in February 2018, he took away the Unleashed version and stuck to the family friendly version to get more sponsors. Then his pod also transitioned to a live broadcast on the WWE Network during the monthly specials, and that started around like 2014. Then starting in 2019, he started doing interview segments on the WWE Network called Broken Skull Sessions. Then, while he was doing that, somewhere in between there, he hosted the reality competition show Redneck Island on CMT, and show how much a fan.
Oh shit, I forgot about Redneck.
Yeah, show how much a fan I was. I actually sat down and watched it, and
It wasn't bad, yo.
It wasn't
was pretty
terrible.
good.
It wasn't terrible, and that
You
began
might be
in
a redneck.
Yeah.
Your word. So that began in June of 2012 and concluded in 2016. Then, right after that, he had the reality competition show Broken Skull Challenge, which was on CMT as well, and that show ended in 2017. So I also have the list of. I think I had said anything, but I'll run through some television shows he guest starred in: VIP, Celebrity Deathmatch, Nash Bridges. I didn't even know he was in Dilbert. Yet made a guest appearance on the Bernie Mac show, Chuck. He was on Tough Enough, and then this is where he got into Redneck Island, then Broken Skull Challenge. Then he had the straight up Steve Austin show, which was like just an interview show. and then just a guest appearance. I think he just had like he said some things on the Undertaker the Last Ride. So so my question to you guys is out of like everything that he's done within like the last, like from what I just said, like yo, what's your favorite like show or segment or whatever that he did out of those choices? I
Oh,
go
my
ahead.
fault.
I know for me it's the Broken Skull Challenge. Well, first it was the podcast because I feel like with the podcast after I remember he was saying in like the A&E interview, the A&E show, like he was saying like after he had retired in 2003, he was doing some acting and he wasn't feeling it. So I felt like he really found like his calling when he was doing the podcast, and that really took off for him. And then just like I said, going back to the list, he was doing all that, and then my favorite thing was like just the broken skull challenge, where if you guys don't know the premise of it, basically I think I forgot how many people he picked at one time, but it's a competition where I think just for shits and giggles, I think it was like 8 people. You'll have 8 people in a competition by elimination. They'll do like certain challenges, and whoever wins it all. They'll take on his Broken Skull challenge, and they have to go through it in a certain amount of time. And it was, to me, it was just dope. It was just different, and of course because it was Steve Austin, I felt like that was like one of the best things that he's done. It was entertaining. He had like just random people, but he also had like people from the Army, the Navy, the Marines. Yeah, like school teachers, just dudes that worked at Radio Shack, just anybody who felt like they can come out.
You've got
and-
questions. We've got answers.
Word. And this random people just come out, see if they can just do this, just, if they can step up to the challenge. So that's why I thought it was so dope. It looked authentic. So that was my favorite show from him. What you got here?
The pod, Steve Austin show. For starters, like Steve is one of those guys. He has such a magnetic personality that whatever he's involved in is probably going to, is going to hold your attention for as long as you're watching it. You know what I'm saying? Like you can put him pretty much, I think, in any situation. He's a great conversationalist. He has great comedic timing. He has like random little bits and tidbits of information that he'll pull out for a random fact here and there. But just in general, like you can see why he was able to connect with people so much as a performer when he was a wrestler, just because like personality plays so much of a part in this shit, more so than moves, more so even so than some of the storylines that you're in. If you have a magnetic personality, people can connect to you, and he has that in spades. I think more so than there might be 2 or 3 other people in the history of at least my time watching wrestling who has like a more an easier personality to connect to. You know what I'm saying? More believable in whatever scenario. That Steve Austin show was cool for me for a couple of reasons. One, that was one of the first pods that I got into, like podcast period. You know what I'm saying?
I think I was the same for me when I
Yeah.
started getting to podding.
Yeah.
He was the first podcast I got into as well.
'Cause,
That and Bill Burr.
Yeah,
remember,
Bill Burr,
yeah.
the Monday show, Monday podcast, Monday morning
Yes.
podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like it was one of the first podcasts that I got into, and it was cool because like before that he was pretty sporadic with like you didn't always get the opportunity to see Steve Austin. You know what I'm saying? He would pop up for a thing, pop up for here, pop up there. So now all of a sudden, once a week, then twice a week, he's just talking, bet. You know what I'm saying? And I'm driving away. The way I was moving at the time, I was always listening to something. So now it was cool. And then, just different guests. And this is one of the first, if it's one of the first pods, it's also one of the first times it was regular conversation with other wrestlers that I hadn't heard of in a while, or heard from in a while, rather. Like him and Kevin Nash they're actually really close friends. So some of the conversations that they had, once they got rid of like this, past the stuff that we already know about, like, yeah, you in the clique and blah, blah, blah. When they're just shooting the shit, it's funny as hell. You know what I'm saying? They was out here saying all kind of shit before like real advertisers got involved, and they would just like, you would fly on a room and two homies are talking. Amazing radio. You know what I'm saying? So for that reason, and then like some of the sponsors, I came across, like, I use a lot of On It supplements now. On It was one of the Steve Austin show was one of the first times I came across that company and shit. So it was just cool because there was a lot of discovery for me at that point. But again, any show for the most part that Steve has been a part of, a host of, it's quality because he's that good. You know what I'm saying? As a host, as a performer, whatever situation. So, but my short answer, Steve Austin Show, the podcast.
And Boog, before you say what's your favorite show, maybe just say this: it's not too many wrestlers after they retire that they find some good footing like this.
Also
so
true.
That's why I got that's why I got salute to Steve Austin. Steve Austin, he's not even wrestling and he's still relevant, like to this day. So
if you can have a great conversation, you're always going to be relevant, I think.
Word.
Right.
What you got, Boog?
Well, I'm biased with this one too. I haven't even seen the new one, but I told y'all, me and Hal designed. Shout out to Hal Haney Art. Follow him on Instagram and Twitter. We designed the crew T-shirt for his newest show. He hit up Hal, Uncle Steve. I joke with Hal, is what I call him, but I ain't never really talked to him like that. I ain't gonna flex like that. But Hal
hold on, pick it up,
great.
Hold on, pick it up, bro. You dropped some names on the floor. Pick it up.
My bad, bro. Uncle Steve, you feel me? But now we designed a shirt for his crew for the most recent show, which is dope as hell. But my favorite thing would have to be the podcast too, just because I feel like that left the breadcrumbs to let us know, oh shit, that's not a character, that's the human being. We fell in love with this real fucking guy. Okay, cool. He exists in life. Like, that's not just like the Undertaker going to the airport in sunglasses. This is the man who we all fucking loved, who was flipping Vince off and telling him to go fuck himself. Like, yeah, all right, cool, that's him. So I'm sold. I'm there. That's who I want to fuck with. So I feel like the podcast made us all realize that's who he is, when you just having, like you said, open format conversations with some of our favorite people. So dope shit.
You know what? I think like he was the first person that maybe it was worded differently with other people, but when people would start talking about like what your character or your gimmick is, and he would explain it, when he would say, "This is me, just turned up to 11." I think he was the first person to say that. So to your point, for us to actually, no, that's real. You know what I'm saying? Like, he actually gave you the blueprint that everybody has tried, not everybody, but a lot of people have tried to follow. It's like, this is verification that this is literally just me on TV. So the real thing, the real nugget of information everybody should follow is develop a fucking personality before you become a wrestler.
And
you know
one final thing, because I think everybody already spoke on this, right? Except Chad. Did Chad go?
No, chatting.
Not
No,
Chad.
okay. One final thing before we get to Chad. If you've never seen him wrestle when he had long hair, go back and do your research.
Yeah.
Because he's always been great, yo.
Yep.
He really, really has. It's no bullshit. It's not just like, by mistake, this guy was good. You could pass anybody the ball. If they can't make the shot, it is what it is. He's been good for a real long time.
Gold. I think, like, if it hadn't been for that neck injury and he was able to still wrestle up to that, like, couldn't touch him in any category. Like, in the ring, imagine the pack. Like, I talk about Kurt Angle being the best ever because the same check boxes that Austin would have is like, if it wasn't for that injury at that time, when he had the best segments, he was as hot as he was, if he was still able to wrestle and do certain things without fear of really re-injuring or re-aggravating that injury, best. He's still the best, but just imagine.
I had to like educate someone on Twitter. This younger person was like, imagine if Paul Heyman was managing Stone Cold. I'm like,
well,
that happened.
For $9.99.
Do your Googles. This happened before, and the Dangerous Alliance was a great thing.
Alliance.
And God bless.
And now we are the
Broken
Dangerous
Skull
Alliance.
Sessions. That is my shit. You know what I'm saying? That right there. I was binging that during COVID. When Chris Jericho had his episode, I think that was my peak of like, holy shit, interviewing everyone.
Yeah.
Like, it don't
Sasha
even
interview was great too.
Yep.
They all were
that was
good.
a very
That
good one.
Mark
Randy Orton,
Henry.
I think the Randy Orton one was my favorite. I think.
Jeff Hardy, mad good ones, yo.
Vince.
Undertaker.
He had Vince. How many people interview Vince?
Yeah,
Right.
Vince on there. That was cool. That was definitely cool.
Shit,
You
he
know
had
what I'm
Sami
saying?
Zayn.
Yep.
Much love to Stone Cold. He's the GOAT on that one. I know my service went heel previously on that last subject. I want to give my answer on my best steel cage match real quick.
Word.
Shouts to TNA. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know I'm a TNA lifer, Impact lifer. The Lethal Lockdown pay-per-view. Horrendous in execution a lot of the time, a lot of the years, but it meant well. It started off, with a good purpose, but just having every single match being a steel cage was just egregious. But one of the best steel cage matches to come out of that was Kurt Angle Samoa Joe, 2008, I believe, for the TNA World Heavyweight title. That was when Samoa Joe finally beat Kurt Angle and won the TNA title, and that match rocked because Kurt Angle wrestled in basketball shorts, and I thought that was just so wavy to watch. Kurt Angle just fight. Like, he's just fighting at this point. Like, that was when he was Perk Angle. So he was just like, yo, I'm ready to. It's like every move, like, like when Roman
I'm
be
so
like,
sorry, Kurt.
whoa, like that was Perk Angle at that time of Impact Wrestling. If y'all weren't watching Kurt Angle at that point of life, bro, Kurt Angle was Roman Reigns at one point in time, yo. He was the going crazy before he was giving niggas the angle slams, the everything, yo. That era of Kurt Angle is going to get a topic from the Ringside Club, courtesy of your boy one of these days, I'm telling you. That was a fucking time period. Kurt Angle, Samoa Joe, steel cage match, Lethal Lockdown, TNA World Heavyweight title. My favorite steel cage match. Shoot to it. Where we at with it?
I respect it.
Think we up to bug.
I think, yeah. So my topic this week is definitely different than something I'm gonna just pause and say real quick. Shouts out to AEW for the obvious change in gear this week, where we had some real storytelling, and that shit had me locked in. So whatever they're doing, please keep that up, because as a wrestling fan, I really appreciate that. Anyway, my topic this week is, I thought it would be cool to kind of discuss who we think from any era other than now, so eras of the past, who we think other than Rock, Austin, Hogan, Cena, Flair, Undertaker, who would fare the best in today's environment? Like, who would just get over with the fans immediately? Forgetting who they were back then, that same character in this environment now, who would get over? I'm going to give you my answer. And it could be anybody. Tags, women, singles.
We're
Don't
going to have
matter
the
to me.
wildest answers.
My answer is Legion of Doom, Road Warriors. I feel like if they were here right now, the tag team division would mean even more than it does. Imagine Briscoe's FTR Road Warriors 3-way. Like, I would literally give the last money in my bank account to see that and be front row. There's just so many different matches you could put together where it's like, holy shit, this could really work. These people could actually make the talent that's out there right now better. So there's just different things I consider, but I'm throwing it to AO. I know this is a difficult one. We may not have really understood fully what I meant in the notes, but now that we got it, best of luck to all of you with your choices.
Oh, we're good.
I got one reason, two names. Sort of slightly overlapping eras, but Taz and Ken Shamrock. And the reason I think is, like, they were so far ahead of their time as far as the MMA influence on their style, that if you take how huge UFC is now, they're and specifically Ken Shamrock because he was a UFC fighter, and Taz because he trained in like judo and just different techniques, but he incorporated that into his style. That would be the equivalent of what you see Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar doing right now. Obviously, different
Yeah.
weight class, but all of those submissions and throws and strikes and mixing up your styles, hybrid style, that's so popular that you don't even realize what you're looking at now. Like Riddle is a perfect example.
Yeah.
Ken Shamrock was one of those guys. Even Dan Severn, even though his style wasn't as flashy, so I'm not sure if he would have gotten over on a mainstream level anyway. But Ken Shamrock, once he understood how to wrestle on TV and incorporated all of the things that he did, we were thinking back then, when is he going to get the world title? Because it seems like all the boxes are checked. You know what I'm saying? And then with Taz, you know, that his height, a lot of people said was one of his biggest detriments, especially when he got to WWF and he sized up against like Austin or whoever. But nowadays, a lot of people aren't really all that tall. You have people. Adam Cole is going to be like they're grooming him right now to be the guy. Like I mentioned
Taz
last
would have
episode.
threw him in Northern Lights, suplexed him through
Yeah.
the ring ropes.
For sure.
Taz would tear Wardlow's entire world apart.
For sure.
And have that belt right now.
For sure. And you got to remember, like, Taz might have been my height. You know what I'm saying? Just about give or take. But the way that man was built, you know what I'm saying? It was like, nah, he's here to fuck something up. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, just thinking about those two names, but like a lot of people that were influenced or were influenced by MMA. If you take how huge UFC is now and the fact that we're conditioned to understand UFC better now than we were back then, you got a lot of names that would have been bigger and would be like fine in today's era for sure.
All right, so I got three people. I just thought about this off the top of my head. First person I want to put in there is Shawn Michaels. I feel like in this era, he's one of the best in-ring performers of that time, and I feel like he can still fare well right now if he can. He probably won't perform as good as he did 10, 15 years ago, but I still feel like he can still go. Even then, you know, he knew how to put people over. He knew how to entertain. Second person I'm putting in there is Rey Mysterio, although he's still wrestling, because he's been out here since
30 fucking years or something like that.
30 years. So for the fact that he started then and he's still going now is super amazing. So he's faring well in this era right now. And the third person, just for the laughs, yo, the Iron Sheik. Have you guys followed the Iron Sheik?
One of the greatest Twitter followers
on Twitter.
Keep that man alive, yo.
Listen, I don't know if
Fuck
it's
you, Bubba.
Yo,
Come on,
fam,
Bubba.
yo, his hatred
Fuck
for
Hulk Hogan,
Hulk
Bubba.
Hogan is astronomical. Is ridiculous. It's hilarious. Because every time I get on the Twitter, it's like he's not even making complete sentences. All he says is "F Hulk Hogan" and that's it. And you know, just for him to, I don't know if it's him tweeting or somebody else tweeting. It got to be him tweeting. He's hilarious like that.
If Pac was still alive and he was still saying "fuck Bad Boy," that's how Iron Sheik is moving with Hulk Hogan.
Yo, facts. That's a fact. So just for tweeting purposes, Iron
Case in
Sheik.
point, 22 hours ago was his second to last tweet. At every opportunity, don't be a dumb son of a bitch. Iron Sheik.
There you go. and yeah, you know, he may not be able to go in the ring anymore, but just for the fact that he's faring well in this social media climate right now, it's amazing. It's hilarious.
Keep that man on Twitter.
Yo, facts, man.
Personality trumps everything.
Chad, who you got?
All right. Russ, you got 3, I got 3. I originally had 1. And then as AO spoke, I had 2. And as you spoke it, I have 3. So
Go for 4. Fuck it.
I'm going to start all left field people, by the way, but only because I was in the 2000s bag recently, as I always seem to find myself ever so randomly watching random 2000 Raws and SmackDowns. Kai and Tai. would be ridiculous right
I
now.
haven't heard that name in years. Oh,
They would
Taka Michinoku's still going, by the way.
Yo, my nigga,
facts.
they would be on fire right now because they would be so in the know with the New Japan crowd that
Is it
like
Funagi's a producer right now, right?
and
WWE?
Funaki as with his gimmick then would have just been mad fun. Essentially, they were the Japanese Orange Cassidy at the time, is what I was like. I was like, they were Orange Cassidy before we even knew what it was. You know what I'm saying? They would have got over. Funaki would have gotten over crazy in this era. You know what I'm saying? Quality jobbers, but they would have had the B team level tag title run like they did early on. You know what I'm saying? Next, Right to Censor would fit right in.
Oh, that's gold.
Right to Censor would fit right the fuck in right about now. Stevie
Yeah.
Richards, Ivory, Bull Buchanan,
The
Good Father.
with a shirt and tie and glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? Otis, Gable, you know what I mean? Like a new Right to Censor would just be mad funny. Because it really would work. It'd just be like the WWE's version of a Me Too, like cancel culture gimmick.
Who's
Yeah,
doing
that
that
pop
Karen
up.
gimmick?
Bailey.
I was just about to say who's going to do
Bailey,
it.
you get
Karen.
Bailey, you get what's
You
her
got
face?
Chelsea Green.
Chelsea Green.
Chelsea Green.
Yeah.
She'd be
Yep.
perfect
Chelsea
for that.
Green. That a new
Dana
Right to
Brooke would be
Censor.
good in that.
All right, we're getting out of here. This is the NWO now. This guy turned into the NWO, man. Dana Brooke in the faction is sick.
BWO.
Nah, but Right to Censor right now would be actually pretty wicked. They were very short-lived. They pissed me off. But looking back at it, like they were a damn good short-lived heel faction. A lot of people had a hell of a short run in the early 2000s and 2001. Yo, like mad gimmicks came and went, but they had
Bangers.
gimmicks. That's the difference between like AEW and like early 2000s WWE Attitude Era. Like niggas had gimmicks. AEW is just like it really is just like yo, you're coming for the wrestling.
Yeah, but the thing is, yo, they had memorable gimmicks for short times.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is amazing.
Right to Censor literally came about out of nowhere because all of them had nothing going on and were like, yo, we got to get some TV time. So we're going to try this out.
In a sense, was dope because like that's WWE's bag. Let's make cartoon characters, and they did it. Like that Right to Censor shit, you ain't gonna see that shit anywhere else. But it was perfect.
Yep. And then my third group would be the Mean Street Posse, would be back as Proud Boys.
Oh my god, yo, is this kid?
Yo, you know what they said with come on, you know the story that you remember the story AO just broke last week about the writer Brittany is talking about like man.
We gotta go to the next segment. You know how
This
much
is
of
a
that shit I had to
perfect
edit
time.
out? I
This is
listened
a
back to that.
perfect-
I listened back to that and I was like, nah, I'm not putting this out.
Yo, this is the perfect time for us to do our tiebreaker for the actual
Yo,
RSC
word.
pay-per-view
I'm gonna throw my
championship.
AirPods on. I gotta get a drink when I'm listening. But
All right,
yeah,
let's go.
this is the perfect
Throw
time to
some
just
background music on.
get jiggy right the fuck out of that.
Get ready. So keep game.
Oh man.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
All right, bet.
Let's turn down the
All I
music a
wanna know.
little bit.
All right. All I need to know from y'all. This has absolutely nothing to do with wrestling, and it's all about chance. I don't want nobody to be able to look this up. Nothing. The first car I ever drove and owned myself was either a 92
This is the question?
Toyota Camry. Yes, this is the question. A 92 Toyota Camry. B, a 92 Honda Civic. Or C, a 92 Honda Accord. Ron, you're first.
Dead ass right.
I'm dead serious.
You said a what?
A is a 92 Toyota Camry. B is a 92 Honda Civic. And C is a 92 Honda Accord.
That's wild.
I'm gonna go with B. I'm gonna go with Honda Civic. You like a Civic guy.
What say you, Chad?
I'm gonna go with C. An Accord.
Neither of you got it right, so how do we do this?
So does that make me the champ?
Yeah, I know, right? We're just gonna give it to AO.
I'll take it.
Dead seriously though. Let's see. I'm cutting music. There's too much pressure. All right. How do we do this? All right. AO, you have any suggestions? You
What
be in
was the
these
color?
office environments.
Well, what was the color of your first car?
Oh, that's a great one. All right. It's either gray or black. What do you got, Ron?
I got gray.
Gray.
Yo. That's not how this works.
It was gray.
It's a tie. We're both the champion. It's Lex Luger, Bret Hart.
This is insane.
This is outrageous.
I should have
This
is
taken the
outrageous.
wheel up and spun the wheel.
Undertaker Kane right now. We're both the champion, Ron.
Hey, you got a coin? I got a quarter right here. I'm just doing a coin toss. That's all we got to do now.
Yeah.
I will say,
Yo, first ever double champ. I'm with
Yo.
it. We can do it.
let's
Hold
do
on,
it.
hold on.
Yo. All right. Who has more championship reigns, Chad or Ron?
Ron.
All right, Ron, you get to call it. Heads or tails?
Tails.
Here we go. Ron's the new champion.
There you go.
Bang, bang.
Shout out to the
No
donuts out there.
asterisks. This is valid. Everybody thought, I had a Honda. God bless you. It was a Honda. It was a Toyota Camry. But
Yo, that was absolutely hilarious.
Yo.
yeah, I would say
Man said
Ron is
gray.
the,
Said gray. And then-
Gray.
that's
Gray.
gray.
I would think you would want to pick the other one, but okay. And the answer was gray.
the answer is gray.
Jesus Christ.
Yo.
All right, listen. That was that
Insane, yo.
segment. We have one segment
Insane.
left, and
That
we
was
can get out of
hilarious.
here. We had a lot of fun this week. Chad, what do you got for these fine ladies, gents, and everything in between, before or after?
You know what, Ron? Congratulations on your up-team title victory, Ron Cena.
You know what I'm saying?
Ron Cena over here.
Yeah,
Hard
appreciate
earned.
it.
He's literally just squashing us at this point. He's just coming through. We're having great quick runs, and then we got to run into Ron Cena again. Attitude
Cena.
adjustment. And it's
Ron
over.
Cena has to be the handle on all socials, or I'm
Nah.
quitting the
Ron
podcast.
Charlotte. This guy is Charlotte Ron.
Yeah, Charlotte Ron is
Charlotte
crazy.
Ron sounds wild as hell.
Yeah, that's a pull.
Charlotte Ron is fucking ridiculous.
Ronlet.
Ron Flair didn't sound good, but
Yeah.
Charlotte Ron was the one.
Charlotte Ron, bro.
Charlotte Ron. Charlotte.
Yo, it's the Charlotte Eye.
Yo, this is extra silly right now, yo. Charlotte Ron might be the best name I ever heard in my life.
Yeah. Charlotte Ron right now just beat your boy for the RSC Prediction Heavyweight Championship of the world. It's okay though. I'm still the longest reigning and defending RSC television champion in the history of RSC.
Listen.
You know what I'm saying? My
Shit.
belt's always on my
Holy.
shoulder.
Yeah.
Yo,
I'm holding it
next
down.
week, you gotta have Charlotte's music queued up for this man, or I'm not coming on this podcast.
Yo,
You gotta play the new joint. Yo, the new thing.
Nah, I'm playing the classic, bro. Yo, this guy coming out to some oons KTU music is tremendous.
KTU! KTU!
The
Yo,
beat of New York.
The beat in New York, boys. This nigga Ron is the beat of New York. Is crazy. Man.
Yo.
We're Charlotte Ron Cena. Charlotte Ron Cena. The beat of New York.
Yo, all right, relax.
Oh, man. My topic, y'all. My topic. KTU. Nasty. Yes, so we were talking about part-time wrestlers. Snoop Dogg had an amazing WrestleMania.
Yo, what are we talking about?
Bad Bad Bunny is on pace to headline SummerSlam against Roman Reigns for the Universal title. Logan Paul is due back anytime now to probably take the Intercontinental title from Gunther. I'm saying these part-time celebrities are coming through and kicking ass, guys. Who do we got next as our next celebrity to come through and wow us? Because I couldn't have called any of those three names that I just said being on my bingo card for how lit this year would be for celebrity wrestlers. The wrestler celebrities in wrestling. What y'all got? You know what I'm saying? What say you? What y'all thinking about celebrity wise? I'm still cooking up mine. I'm still having
I got mine.
some
I got
names
mine.
I'm thinking about. Who you thinking?
Conor McGregor.
I was thinking that, but I'm just like, that's like too easy. I almost feel like it's not gonna happen because it's too easy.
I don't know. Conor McGregor, and like he doesn't even have to be good, like in ring, because again, like we were talking about with Austin, like Austin was good in ring, but Austin connected with everybody because of his personality. So I think like it's a no brainer. If he does do it, it's going to be a success. As long as he doesn't completely shit the bed in ring, Conor McGregor is a no brainer.
For me, this is not like a top celebrity, if you want to call him celebrity, but I went in the same vein as you. Like I went with a UFC fighter. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Israel Adesanya.
I can see that.
Yeah,
I can see that.
because I think he has a solid personality, cut some decent promos and some backstage segments. I feel like if he wants to do this, I feel like he'll have the respect to train fully towards this, like Bad Bunny did. And of course, there's a history of UFC fighters in there coming to the WWE, like you said, like you mentioned Ken Shamrock before. And something that came to mind was if he comes in, he could do something with Lesnar, where it's like, we both came from the same like UFC, like
Yeah, same background.
same background. They can do a little segment like that. Even if Adesanya doesn't wrestle, I feel like he can do a program somewhere. If if you see him on social media or Twitter or whatever, or you see his videos, or you see how he go, like you see his charisma, his swag before he does a match or whatever, it's super dope. I think it can go over in WWE. Shit, it can go over anywhere, but in WWE, I think that can go over depending on how how he does it. So, and with that, what you got, Bob?
So I'd be lying to you if I had any idea what we were talking about right now. But
Celebrities.
God is good, God is great. One hand wash the other, both wash the face.
What celebrities would you want to have come into the E?
Oh, that's great.
What part timers?
This is who I would want to, or who I think would be a good fit.
Who you go with both? Shoot them.
All right. I think Antonio Brown's crazy ass would be good in the WWE.
Holy
I'm not
shit!
saying I want him to be there, but I think he'd be good in there.
Put that shit on.
And who do I think's gonna be there? Or who do I want to see there? Who's a celebrity that would even be agile enough to do this shit? I could probably just stick with an athlete and say it would never work. But Marshawn Lynch would be somebody I'd love to see in the WWE.
That's a ridiculous answer. I'm here for it.
Imagine
They don't get more
spectacle of a
outlandish
car
than that.
crash.
I'm here for it.
They don't get more outlandish than that.
Oh,
God
man.
damn.
Macaulay Culkin.
Nah, we're-
He's an actual wrestling fan too.
Yo,
Yeah, he
wrong
is.
Answers only. I got a
Yeah.
bunch.
Yeah, man. I mean,
Plenty of
dog,
wrong answers.
these celebrities have been coming through and actually doing some work. Pat McAfee, as we know, he's very much so expected to come back soon. We always enjoy Pat McAfee cameos, so it was crossed my mind really just the whole topic, and But like I said, with Bad Bunny having a kick-ass performance these last couple weeks, it's been crossing my mind. Like, man, there could be some celebrities looming in the wings that are gonna come through and make some buzz happen for the E.
I would say, much like Bad Bunny, we could probably expect to be surprised. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that there's people that we could just bet on and say, yeah, this person's definitely going to be an athletic or a wrestling standout or even just captivating personality wise. I think we just have to see it. But one thing's for sure, every time they introduce someone, we're going to cringe about it unless we think it's one of the people we mentioned. So, whatever.
Yeah, do you
Yo,
think the WWE would bring Jonathan Majors in at a time like this or not? Because he's probably gonna need the you need all
Chad.
the help he's gonna get.
No, he's not bringing John.
He's gonna need
Nah.
all the help he's gonna get. Holy shit!
Before
super left field, but I think like it would never happen. But like the game would work in WWE because
The
he's a character
game,
anyway.
the
The
game
game,
would
like the
be
rapper,
dope
the
as
game
fuck. I know.
would
Yeah,
work.
Oh, the
the game
game?
would be dope as fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, we got Rick Ross in AEW, and that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So,
Yo, did you see the video with that knee lift?
yes, I absolutely did. He sold his own knee louder than the person that took it.
That was amazing. They should have put that shit on TV just to show it. You don't even got to be part of the story no more. Just like, yo, here's Rick Ross throwing a running knee, a knee lift.
Stephen A. as a manager also would be fire.
Yeah.
Yo, I thought they were gonna do something with him like around Mania. I thought I read something like that. But
I
Stephen A.
actually
would
hope
be
they
amazing.
do. I hope they
Yeah.
still do, yo, because that would be an amazing storyline. I think he'd be a great mouthpiece for somebody. Not
I'd love
on
to see like
Rick
a
Ross.
Stephen
Bobby
A. Smith.
Lashley.
Oh,
Stephen
yeah,
A. Smith. I'd love to see Stephen A. Smith face off with Paul Heyman.
with a scream off.
Yeah.
You know, just talking mad loud into the mic for no reason. Like,
Mad spit pause.
Yo.
And on that note, we got our exit survey, fellas.
Yeah. All right. So, AEW Collision is coming to a theater near you very soon.
Word up.
And with that, I just want to know who's everybody's first pick if they had the choice to pick a superstar on the AEW roster for that show? Who do you build that show behind? Let's say CM Punk's not involved. I'll give my answer last, so go ahead.
All right, from the perspective of what? Build the show around who I really want to push, great talent, or who I think is actually going to
SmackDown's
get ratings.
Roman, SmackDown's Roman, Raw's Cody, Seth. Who's your top guy for Collision?
Assuming that the elite, meaning Omega, specifically Omega, assuming Omega is staying and Mox and them Brian are staying on Wednesdays.
We'll call it an MJF's world because he's the current champion. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Fuck. I don't know. Maybe just because he just came back, but like a Miro main event push feels right and believable. You know what I'm saying? And I would very, very quickly start building like my next batch of guys, like a real proper run for Hobbs, you know, a proper run for some of those guys with secondary titles. But I'd go with Miro, just because like you wouldn't see that coming. You think they'd immediately go back to Punk and
Yep.
MJF or whatever, but Miro for sure.
imagine a Miro like Clubber Lang run right now, where he's just some real badass, literally kills everyone, dude.
Complete silence. He's not even saying a word in his return. He's just coming through and beating people up.
Word. What you got, Ron?
man, I'm still thinking about it. You might have to come back to me. Give me a minute.
You want to go, Chad? You could, or I could give my pick. It don't matter to me.
Orange Cassidy, the OC. It's one guy you're gonna have as a staple, guaranteed draw in one way, shape, or another. Orange Cassidy needs to be there. Pockets has to be on deck on somebody's show. When the Pockets is there, everything seems all right.
I can't not call him that now, yo.
Yeah, I like it. It's actually
Piece
a
to
really
pockets.
fitting name. Hell yeah. And it's better than what he calls Kenny Omega, so he got the good end of that one. But I'd say my pick, if we're coming back to Ron, I feel like this person just keeps proving themselves every time they get out there, no matter what they do. So I don't know how it would make sense, but I would really like to see, you know, them put a real big push behind like Brian Danielson as
Mm.
Audio
which
just dropped
show?
out.
You
Oh, there you
was
go.
dropping out.
Oh,
Hey,
oops,
no.
hold on. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you good.
I'm here, Field of Dreams. Did you hear who I said?
Yeah, Brian.
Brian
Yeah,
Danielson.
Daniel,
Brian
Yeah.
Danielson, like I just feel like he deserves to be the world champion, and if I'm picking him as the person to kind of like build the show behind, if it's one person, I'm picking him. If it's two people, I would say FTR, just because when FTR comes out, Chad and I were there very recently. The fans literally love these guys. Like on Dynamite, that whole show was fire from the beginning to end. It was just a great show. But when FTR came out, it went up another level, and the fans were really going crazy chanting FTR's name. So, um, man, I don't know if you needed somebody to really build a show behind or make a statement about what type of show you're putting on. That might be my pick, even over Brian Danielson. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, sure.
yeah, yeah. Thank you for saying Daniel Bryan. So I think I'm going to say Blackpool Combat Club.
Why is Chad laughing now?
Was it- I think I know why, but yeah, I'll say them. And I feel like they can be like interchangeable out during the week. I feel like you can. I like the heel run that they're doing right now. I feel like they can get a big draw. Because you already got what's his face? You already got Claudio and Yuta like just going crazy over in ROH. Daniel Bryan doing what he's doing. Brian Danielson, pardon me. Brian Danielson doing what he's doing, and Mox just bleeding every damn week. So I feel like you get a good draw to the Saturday mornings for now. Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
Word up.
And with that,
It's been real. Y'all stay safe. We are the Ringside Club. Catch
Gang,
us
gang.
next week. Peace.
Peace.
Squad.